because those lawyers say the media there has biased the jury pool.
In a dramatic change of affairs, the courts will allow only one additional accuser to testify in his upcoming trial, not the 13 as prosecutors had hoped. Cosby's charged with sexual assault of former Temple University employee Andrea Constand. I want to bring in CNN legal analyst and criminal defense attorney Joey Jackson. Several things to unpack here. First of all, Joey, change of venue. Do you think that would be granted? I mean, everybody knows about this.
They really do. Good morning, Christy. Listen, the fact is that change of venue motions are predicated upon fairness. Do you think Bill Cosby can get a fair trial in that jurisdiction? Interestingly enough, though, I think change of venue motions have become less significant in a day and age where you have 24-hour cable cycle, you've got, you know, Twitter accounts to look at, you got Facebook burgeoning, but the issue becomes, you know what? People who view that stuff are further removed than those who are local to that jurisdiction who may have more embedded feelings about it. And so you never know what a judge will do, but in an exercise of caution, the judge may very well do that, because at the end of the day, in the event that Cosby is convicted, the trial's coming up in June, it would provide a sort of an appellate avenue for his attorneys to pursue in the event that venue was not changed. And so the safer course of action may very well be to grant that motion in light of all of the publicity surrounding the case nationally, but very focused locally in that particular area.
Gotcha. Okay, I wanted to ask you about the second prong to this. What was the judge's reasoning for dismissing the other 12 alleged victims here, and what specifically was it about only allowing victim 6?
Wonderful question. The judge does not provide an answer. I will attempt to provide it. The judge, of course, made a one-page decision, not even one page, essentially saying that it's a balancing test. Remember, what we're talking about are prior bad acts, and oftentimes what a prosecutor will do is attempt to introduce all types of other evidence, and in this case saying, Judge, there are 13 other accusers out there, 13, and they all allege Cosby did something. And so this goes to intent, it goes to motive, it goes to a common plan, a scheme. It's his imprint, Judge, it's his footprint. Allow it in. Judge has to say, wait a second, I have to do a balancing test. Trials need to be about what they're about. In this instance, it's about what, if anything, he did with Andrea Constand in 2004. It's not about what he did the day before that, the week before that, the year before that, 10 years before that. And so the judge had to identify through the hearings in December all of the 13 and come up with, you know what, what's appropriate. The law allows me, if I'm a judge, to admit evidence that speaks to the common plan of scheme.
So are you saying that there was something with victim 6 that was close enough to what may have happened with this alleged victim?
Yes, we could extrapolate from that, Christy, that according to victim 6 in 1996, 20-some-odd years ago, what occurred, according to her, it hasn't been vetted in any criminal proceeding or otherwise, that there was a drug-induced encounter which involved wine. Ha! Strangely familiar to what we're dealing with here. And so I think the judge said that this is close enough. At the same time, it allows me to balance what I have to do, which is his right to a fair trial. We'll exclude the other 12 allegations. These are similar enough. We'll split the baby, and therefore, prosecution, you have your other victim. Defense, you have your issues considered too.
Okay, so Joe, I want to read you what the DA, Kevin Steele, said after this. He said the jury will now be allowed to assess evidence that's relevant to establishing a common plan, scheme, and design of sexual abuse and an absence of mistake by the defendant. So speaking to what you were just talking about right there, a lot of people saw this, though, as a victory for Cosby, so to speak, but how much does it dull the prosecution's case by dismissing those other 12?
I think it's a significant win for the defense in as much as, you know, oftentimes a jury could very well conclude, you know what, if he did this before, he would then do it now. And so the trial becomes not about what, if anything, he did to Andrea Constand. It becomes about what, if anything, he did to several other women. And so the judge limited that. I still think it's very damaging to have any particular person come in and say he did the exact same thing.
You even have the one coming in, sure.
Exactly, but certainly
Joey,
it limits it.
I want to get you to one more thing real quickly here.
Sure.
Catherine McKee filed a defamation lawsuit against him, claiming that he had raped her as well. Let's listen to this.
He opens the door, I step in, he slams the door, and that's when I knew something was different. And just raped me right there, just within 60 seconds. I was shocked, I was terrified. This was extremely bizarre. He didn't say a word to me. I didn't come forward because I knew that they were going to crush me.
Now, Cosby denied that claim, we need to point out. McGee has filed a defamation lawsuit, which was dismissed. Why was that defamation lawsuit dismissed? Does he have to be convicted for any of those to stand?
Not at all. What happened, and it should be noted that this was an allegation apparently from 1974 that apparently came out in, 2014, so 40 years later. But what Bill Cosby did when it came out in the Daily News is he wrote a letter to them denying it. And the federal judge said, look, a blanket denial in which you don't otherwise take the victim to task is something that's permissible under the First Amendment. Defamation involves, of course, claims that assault or assail someone's character. And, of course, an absolute defense to defamation would be truth. And so she's saying it's true. He's saying it's not. It hasn't otherwise been vetted or determined otherwise. But a blanket denial, according to the federal judge who dismissed the case, is not sufficient to hold someone accountable for defamation under First Amendment precepts of our Constitution, Christy.
All righty. Okay. Joey Jackson, thank you for walking us through all of that. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Christy.